Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Poppy Tooker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. It's so great to have him back. Ron Foreman, president and CEO of the Audubon Nature Institute. Welcome back, kiddo.
It's always good to be here.
Good to see you. And Steppin Out theater critic Alan Smason of theatercriticism.com. Great to see you, of course. And in conjunction with the Jazz Fest, we'll also have a performance by the New Orleans Society of Dance's Baby Doll Leaders later on. But first up, Poppy.
Well, you know, some people go to the Jazz Fest for music.
They do.
I can't understand this, but there's so much more. And of course, that much more is the food. And so I've got some food news for everybody that if you're going to the festival, pay attention. Food one, that's that first area when you walk in. Vaucresson sausage is now officially the last original vendor at the Jazz Fest. Of course, Sonny Vaucresson, I know. Well, now the Bricato's left. They were the second to last. So now the Vaucressons are there. They're debuting a new sausage this year, an alligator sausage. And that's joining, of course, their hot sausage poor boy and their crawfish sausage poor boy, which is so good. And what's really great for everybody who's dieting, you can actually get a sausage sampler plate. So for everybody who's avoiding carbs, head straight to Vaucresson Sausage and give that Vance Vaucresson my love. He sings, too. He's something. Now, new in Food One, last year, if you remember, the cultural exchange country was Cuba. And so Congreso Cubano was in the Cultural Exchange Pavilion last year. So they were so great and such a hit that they're in Food One now, and they're there with the ropas viejas and the black beans from last year, but they've got a new dish, which is a crispy fried redfish dish that's fabulous, and a paleta de café con leche. Oh, I can't wait. That is yummy, yummy. Now, speaking of the Cultural Exchange Pavilion, this year, to celebrate the tricentennial, it's New Orleans. So it's all the countries that make up New Orleans. And Michelle Nugent, my buddy who's the food director, has finally, after I think she's been there over 20 years, satisfied my request for kalahs. At the festival, there's kalahs.
Which you only helped resurrect.
Well, it is perfect festival food. Those little fried rice cakes. And Loretta's Pralines are serving the traditional kalah, a sweet potato kalah, and a shrimp kalah. And then, to me, last year's big winners were Loretta's stuffed beignets. And she does a crab stuffed beignet that's out of this world, and a praline stuffed beignet, but new this year, chocolate stuffed beignets. Now, when it comes to the food at Jazz Fest, don't forget the affogato. I can't start my day without an affogato from La Divina Gelateria, which is, of course, espresso and gelato of your choice. And they also have handmade ice cream sandwiches on wheels that move around the festival that are just great. And then don't forget to eat your spinach and get your jamma in Congo Square, and then you won't feel so guilty about your cracklins and Miss Linda's pork chop sandwich, which you know I have a great love for. And the other thing I love is the Food Heritage Stage. It is my favorite place all year to teach cooking. And tomorrow I'm opening the stage at 11:30 with sort of a seminar on Creole cream cheese. And don't forget, we're going to learn everything from how to make it to how to use it. And don't forget that over in Heritage Square by Contemporary Crafts, you can find at Mini Pearl Pies and Pastries from Marrero, the Creole cream cheese cake with strawberries. And then following me on the Food Heritage stage, don't miss Susan Spicer at 12:30. She's making poblano cheddar tamales with a crawfish sauce from the Rosedale Inn, which of course is near the Jazz Fest. So that's a great place to think of where to dine after Jazz Fest. And on Sunday, the Tricentennial Tribute continues with Gus Martin from the Palace Cafe and his catfish pecan meuniere. And then next Friday, I always wanted to know how to make death by gumbo that they serve at Restaurant Revolution, and the chef Jana Ann Billiot is going to be making that at 11:30. And at 2:30, I can't wait to find out what a cochon de lait parfait is like from Jonathan Walker from Walker's Barbecue.
Okay.
Thank you, Poppy.
So much good food. Who's got time? Thank goodness we can listen and chew at the same time. Huh?
Goodness.
Thank goodness.
Well, Ron, my goodness, much to celebrate, including, of course, the Zoo-to-Do next week. And as we speak tonight, we've got the children's Zoo-to-Do, but the adult Zoo-to-do is actually next weekend, isn't it?
5,000 kids having a great time right now at Kids Zoo-to-Do. It's a big event. And then next Friday, May 4th, we have the Whitney Zoo-to-Do. The Whitney Zoo-to-Do now is the 41st Zoo-to-Do, which is hard to believe. Wow. It's generated over $40 million to rebuild the zoo. It's matched by a lot of other money with private donations, public money, and the reason we have one of the best zoos in the country is because of that Whitney Zoo-to-Do.
Well, also, and I always like to brag about this, is the fact that a lot of development departments of zoos around the country come and say, hi, can we watch what you're doing with this?
It's become a model for other zoos that it's a way to get the community involved. Most zoos were supported by the public community, the government. Now more and more it's supported by nonprofit. So the more that the nonprofit families come in, have a great time, share the experience, they contribute, and it makes it a great facility.
Outdoor party, lots of local restaurants contributing, and music too.
Well, you know, one of the best things we have is a raffle.
Oh.
We have a raffle going on, and Gail Benson's been great to us. And
got some show and tell.
We have a few jerseys that are pretty special this time of the year as we're going to win an NBA championship. Gail promises that. This is Anthony Davis.
Oh,
and I understand it's
autograph.
signed. Look, it's
Whoa.
Anthony
Davis. We have more. Anthony Davis is great because there's this guy named Rondo who passes him the ball all the time.
Whoa.
So we have Rondo, we have
signed.
Rondo's jersey, and then another incredibly talented person, Drew Holiday. So he came, and it shows that these young professional players are also giving back to the community, wanting the city to be great, and we're so lucky to have this NBA team, championship team coming up.
Yes, indeed.
We are great to have the New Orleans Saints and all the good things they're doing with the draft going on right now, and what great leadership Gail Benson showing.
Oh, absolutely. Now, of course, I'm sure you can go to the Audubon website and get information about what to do in terms of engaging in that.
.org, Zoo-to-Do.
Okay, we can do that.
So
right.
bid high and build it often.
Yes, and let's look ahead for a moment, because these funds go to wonderful things like what we're about to talk about. Over at the aquarium, over 10 different facilities between the the museums and the outdoor areas too. 10 now.
We have the largest collection of living science museums to teach our children the importance of nature. To wake up each day, that life is beautiful. Birds migrating, butterflies, flowers blooming. The world is a beautiful place. We got to make sure our kids realize what a beautiful place, because more and more kids are growing up away from nature. We got to bring nature back to them.
In New Orleans East, you all
with the
reopened
Nature
that.
Center,
The Nature
Louisiana Nature Center is doing incredibly well. Brand new facility. So we have 10 facilities, insectariums.
Back to the aquarium, though, we've got a shark touch tank?
A new shark touch tank is being
Coming
built
up in
right
a few
now.
months, huh?
Well, it's going to be a little bit more than a few months, but that's going on. And at the zoo, there's always something going on. And we're fortunately, Boise and Joy Bollinger made a major contribution of $5 million.
Whoa.
He said he went to Africa and visited with his family, and he wants every kid to have a chance to experience lions of Africa. And that project's under construction, will be open summer next year.
Very exciting. And of course, we all want to keep cool, and there's the Cool Zoo that's opening this month.
Another great project. We couldn't figure out why in summertime the aquarium was doing so well and the numbers in the zoo would go down. And someone said, finally, it's hot in the zoo. So we said, well, why don't we make it the Cool Zoo? So we added a water feature that you could go through the exhibits.
It's a few years old now, right?
It's probably the 5th year, 6th year now. But it's a great way to come in summertime when it's hot outside, come cool off at the zoo. If you really are hot, go to the aquarium, go to the insectarium, go to the theater. It's air conditioned. Things are going well. And again, the important things, we talk about all these facilities in a way about the attractions, but it's really to teach our kids. If we don't protect the environment, if we don't protect the future species for our kids and our grandkids, they won't be around. So we have a really important job to do for education, wildlife conservation, and at the same time making it a fun place.
Absolutely, and I know always that you're thinking about the beauty of the green space, especially in the front part of Audubon Park, and you're doing more and more renovation to keeping it beautiful and lush and green.
We have Audubon Park, which is a Olmsted Park, the father of landscape architecture. It's a beautiful green space. We're doing master planning right now for the future, and the good thing that came out of the master plan, there's not going to be any real changes. With the zoos there, what we have is there, but we want a better balance of green space to recreation space. At the same time, we have to upgrade the infrastructure. We always got to improve. We got to plant more trees. Trees do die. We got to plant new live oak trees. We got to plan for the future and plan for the future.
All right, well, great. We're so glad to have you here.
Love being here.
Have fun at the zoo to do. And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Janelle Olivier gave us the names of 2 rivers that flow into both Texas and Louisiana. The answers are the Red River and the Sabine River. Now, tonight's question. On what 2 stages at the Jazz Fest would you most likely hear Cajun music and traditional jazz? Your answers, you can email them to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes, a year subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, an apron with the message, nice buns, from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And, thank you, Ron, a pair of free admission passes to either the Audubon Zoo, Aquarium of the Americas, or the Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. You can go to wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including a free concert this Sunday at the St. Joseph Abbey Church, of course, in Covington. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to see our program anytime. And we're so excited. The New Orleans Society of Dance's Baby Doll Ladies are preserving the tradition of the baby doll groups that have been a part of Mardi Gras for over a century. Anticipating an upcoming performance at next week's Jazz Fest, leader Melissa White and some of the ladies stopped by earlier today to give us a sneak preview. I'm here with Melissa White, and she is the head of the New Orleans Society of Dance, the Baby Doll Ladies. And the Baby Doll Ladies are with us. And even though it seems a little out of season because we connect that with Mardi Gras, it's the Jazz Fest. And next Thursday, you're going to be in the Economy Hall tent, right?
That's correct.
So if somebody they're seeing baby dolls for the first time, we know this goes back to an over a century tradition of ladies at that point, shall we say, a little spicy, maybe of the evening.
Yes.
And what we refer to as Storyville. And Black Storyville, but not anymore. This tradition of ladies, upstanding ladies, but they're dressing as baby dolls. So tell us about your organization.
Yes, since 2005, the New Orleans Baby Doll Ladies perform as a signature chant and dance ensemble. And furthermore, we are the chosen community culture bearer and keeper of the untold stories and heirloom artifacts that have been passed down to our groups from the elder pioneers of the once dormant tradition.
Now, they would follow around the Indians on Mardi Gras Day, of course, and walk through the neighborhoods and those kinds of traditions of ladies who weren't necessarily young. They were all ages, but they dressed as baby dolls, right?
All ages. And as you stated, in the early days of the jazz, the tradition did start with a local group of shake dancers that lived back of town, stomping grounds of Louis Armstrong. Absolutely. And so, yes, these women would come out and parade up and down the Basin Street line back in the day to outdo.
At Claiborne, right around that area as well. Well, before we go any further, though, please introduce our wonderful dancers.
Today we have with us Baby Doll Lady Cayenne, Baby Doll Lady Couture Madness, Baby Doll Lady Purple Rain Dance, Baby Doll Lady 504, and Baby Doll Lady Lanyap.
All right, welcome. And let me just say, having chatted with them earlier, they are very youthful, but they are young professional young ladies, and all different, including a nurse.
Absolutely.
So if we start coughing, we don't have to worry, right?
No, you got you covered.
So tell us about what's going to happen next Thursday morning.
So next Thursday morning, we are performing live for School Day at the Fest, which is going to be hosted in the Economy Hall tent at New Orleans Jazz Fest. And we are going to be featuring a local rapper by the name of Katie Black, who is going to perform with the Baby Doll Ladies as well. Okay, so and speaking of Katie Black, tell us, this is the song? Yes.
We're going to about to hear.
Yes.
By Katie and the Baby Dolls singing themselves?
Absolutely.
The name of the song?
The name of the song we are performing today is called I'm a Lady.
All right, I'm a Lady. Take it away. Let's get out of here.
Baby dolls, honey cats in the building. To a madness, lady. People be asking, you, girl, who y'all baby doll ladies are we? What it is that y'all be doing when y'all do what y'all doing? Come on. One gun to me, he get lost. Pushing forward, I'm the boss. Creole seasoning in the sauce, sticking it in at all costs. I'm a lady. Baby doll, I'm a lady. Baby doll. Me in your world, I'm your girl. You can have it all. Back against the wall, standing tall, we'll never fall. Cause I'm a lady. Baby doll. I'm a lady. Baby doll. Me and Michelle went in the same, switching gears and changing lanes. Wearing in my rose brain, woman enough to take your last name. I'm a lady. Baby doll. Paying homage to our past, persevering to the last. Signing checks and autographs, money guarders, we ain't fast. I'm a baby doll. Keep his pockets full, I can do it. Marry me, y'all. He wish he could. Real pride, y'all. That's how we do it. Cause I'm a lady, I'm a woman who be doing it. Keep his pockets full, I can do it. Marry me, y'all. He wish he could. Real pride, y'all. That's how we do it. Cause I'm a lady, I'm a woman who be doing it.
Just bounce it like a, just bounce it like a, just bounce it like a, bounce it like a, bounce it like a, just bounce it like, just bounce it like, just bounce it like a, bounce it like, just bounce it like, just like a.
And this is a Baby Doll Lady and Katie Black collab. DJ Hectic on the track. Yeah, turn up and let go.
All right. And by the way, you saw the song that you just heard, I'm a Lady, is available on iTunes. You can catch the Baby Doll Ladies at Jazz Fest next Thursday. They'll be performing at the Economy Hall stage at 9:30 a.m. By the way, Melissa told me that their kabuki-style makeup is their own unique tribute to masking at Mardi Gras. And of course, they are now parading behind the Pete Fountain Half-Fast Marching Club, so they have their own little slot. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are showcasing artwork from local photographer Ben Depp. Here's an image of Delacroix Island, St. Bernard Parish. Wow. Depp uses a motor-powered paraglider to fly over swamps in South Louisiana and capture images from 10 to 2,000 feet. And we also have an image of the shoreline of Cameron Parish. These and other works by Depp will be on view at a gallery for fine photography on Charter Street. The exhibit runs through June the 1st. The gallery's website you can check out for more info. And now, Alan.
Can we give another Admiration Society shout out to the Audubon Institute? Because, you know, it's only a couple of weeks away, but Irma Thomas, of course, Mother's Day, thank you very much. She was so surprised she got a 5-year contract on her 75th birthday. She says, I like that. They think I'm going to be around. So we're happy that you do that every year. Monday night, Irma was at the Orpheum Theater with a whole bunch of other people celebrating music, but also celebrating theater. This was, of course, the 30th anniversary of the Big Easy Awards that's put on by the Foundation for Entertainment Development and Education. So it's a great night out. First of all, we had a lot of people who were recognized. I'd like to go over a couple of them. First off, the director of Caligula and also the first ever staging of Scott Joplin's Treemonisha at the Music Box, Goat in the Road's own Emily Whalen. And she had a very moving speech about being a strong feminist and a leader. She was very emotional. And here we see her with Andrew Vaught, who's the artistic director of Goat in the Road. She said it was never easy to work with him, but it was somebody, she said, with whom she never wanted to work without. Again, another big winner of the night was Le Petit Theatre for their work with Jelly's Last Jam. That took home best honors as the best musical. Here we see Jackie Alexander and artistic director Maxwell Williams with their award. For 2 years ago, if you remember, we were talking a little bit about the Academy Awards being sort of less than diverse. And I noted that it was the first year in New Orleans at that time that a woman of color, Gwendolyn Foxworth, won for Best Actress in a Play. Well, this year we had Troy Bechet, who was the second to win a Best Actress in a Musical Big Easy Award. Of course, Best Actress in a Musical that we had for Tony Kushner's Caroline or Change, that was co-produced by JPAS and West Wego. But Troy wasn't alone. Carol Sutton also won. She picked up an award as Best Supporting Actress in a Play for her work as Marguerite Gautier in Tennessee Williams' Camino Real. And Idella Johnson, who indeed won the first Best Actress award for a musical, she won, of course, for Pearlie. She took home another Big Easy Award this year for her work in Jelly's Last Jam, too. Now, meanwhile, the fiercest actress I know, a woman of tenacity and tremendous ability, Becca Chapman, was awarded the Best Actress in a Play, recognition for her work in the NOLA Project's The Spider Queen, which was also recognized as Best Original Work and for Best Costumes. Meanwhile, Rivertown Theaters for the Performing Arts also went home with awards for Billy Elliot for Best Choreography by Karen Hebert, Ashley Moran, and Annie Tafaro. And one of the reasons was the Wunderkind, the performer Marcel Cavalier, who I consider the lock of the year. Marcel played the title role of Billy Elliot. He was amazing, and I hope to see many more performances. He's still a teenager. Again, a shout out to the National World War II Museum, who took home their first Best Ensemble Award for their incredible work in Ain't Misbehavin', the Fats Waller musical. Here we see Bob and Dolores Hope Entertainment Director Victoria Reed and her star Lawrence Weber Jr., who performed Feet's Too Big just a little bit earlier. Now, also, last but by no means least, I wanted to give a shout out, kudos to Mark Curtali, who received a special recognition for his Broadway at Noka series that continues to bring some of the brightest luminaries from the Great White Way back here to New Orleans. Here we see Mark accepting his award and making an announcement, by the way, that I wanted to share with all of you, that Christine Ebersol will be here in December as part of his series. So we're looking forward to that. She's canceled twice before, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. Now, last night I saw a very emotionally moving and well-executed drama. This, of course, is Eclipse. It's written by Danae Gurira. She's the female lead in Black Panther. It has a cast of 5 African-American women, and it's directed by Malika Oyedemane. It's set during the Civil War in Liberia in 2003. The actors all speak in an African dialect that is at times somewhat difficult to understand. However, the issues it addresses, that of women conscripted during war, rape used as a weapon, and the breakdown of women's roles in traditional society are all addressed in this play. Again, it's poignant, it's topical. The Me Too generation will find a lot to really get into with this. It talks a lot about the denigration of women. It all addresses many of these issues. They all lose their identities, for instance, due to the war. Idella Johnson leads the cast of 4 wives to the unseen rebel commander. She's number 1. Of course, number 2 is also known as Maima. She's taken up arms. She becomes a rebel leader. She's lost to the war, and again, to the cost of what goes on there. LaSharon Purvis plays a pregnant number 3, and she contends with a 15-year-old who's captured and now known as number 4. Lauren Taylor is a woman seeking peace who befriends all the other women and tries to find her daughter who's also been lost. Eclipse is a 2-act play. It's really riveting. There's a short intermission. It runs about 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's a glimpse into the realities of war. It's, again, something I would really recommend extremely really well done. Eclipse runs through May the 6th, so you have another weekend to see it. Also, back on the boards next week, the story of Seymour and Audrey and the plant from outer space that craves humans, and not just for friends. Check out Little Shop of Horrors at Rivertown Theaters of Performing Arts, and that'll be starting up May the 4th. It'll run through the 20th. And of course, last but by no means least, somebody who we all know and love, John Spud McConnell will return next week, not next week, but he'll return coming up in May for a one-man show to reprise Huey Long as the Kingfish, directed by Perry Martin. It's an award-winning show that actually was on off-Broadway for a while.
And we're going to have John on.
Yes.
So that's good news. And time for our picks. Puppy.
Well, if you love Jazz Fest and you don't want the fest to stop, Monday through Wednesday, you can go to Crawfish Fest at Central City Barbecue. There's live music, there's great crawfish, there's contests, crawfish boiling, crawfish eating, all on South Rampart Street, 3 till 10, Monday through Wednesday. It's lots of fun.
All right, Ron.
We all have to remember our moms. Mom's Day, Mother's Day is coming up on May 15th. We have an event each year.
Yep.
Irma Thomas leads the music. We have food. We have festivals. It's a wonderful all-day experience, and Mom's coming free.
All right, it's going to be great. And they have a brunch beforehand.
Brunch
That's a cute idea.
At 11 o'clock, come in early with your family, and it's a great way to say thank you to our moms.
Oh, great.
I don't know what it is about nuns, but apparently they're very funny. We had, of course, the Late Night Catechism, which is coming up, and of course, Nonsense going to be at the World War II Museum coming up. And Amanda Hebert is coming back to reprise her role that she used to do for many years over at Le Petit Theater. This is going to be the Teatro Wego in West Wego, starting up just for one weekend, though, May the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
That's really funny. Well, both of them are great, but Amanda's amazing. And before my picks, though, we wanted to acknowledge the passing of Charles Neville, saxophonist and, of course, a member of the Neville Brothers, seen here with Brother Aaron. He was 79. The Neville Brothers' performance of Healing Chant on their Yellow Moon album won them a Grammy. Neville is the father, of course, of singer Charmaine Neville. Thanks to the Advocate for the use of this great photo by Matthew Hinton. Now time for my picks. Available at the Jazz Fest, the official program, chock full of food coupons and info on the performing and visual artists there, as well as the schedule, of course. Fats Domino on the cover, Terrence Osborne. I am, let me show you, show and tell here, I am wearing a hat by Tracy Thompson. Hat designer Tracy Thompson, and she is going to be in Tent F of the Contemporary Crafts Fest booth near the Blues Tent this weekend only. First weekend, visit her website, kabukihats.com, to see more of her work. And just a reminder, she's only there that one weekend. Also, though, she's got a great little booth set up at the Dutch Alley near the French Market. And the 11th annual Jane Austen Festival tomorrow. That will be held, of course, at the historic Lang House in Mandeville. There's also a patron party. Visit the festival's website for more info on that. And please consider supporting WYS through this year's annual Give NOLA Day. That's next Tuesday, which is a 24-hour online giving event that supports local nonprofits, including WYS. Visit nola.org/WYS. And if you give every hour from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., WYS will randomly pick a donor to win one of those prizes. Oh, I like some of those prizes that you see on the screen. And looking ahead, the opening reception for a new exhibit by artist Mark Kostabi will be next Saturday a week at the Martin Lawrence Gallery on Royal Street. Visit the gallery's website for more details. Ron, it is so good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all so very much, and thank you so much for watching. Good night. Happy Jazz Fest.
Tracy.